Hello everyone, I'm Jinya. Welcome to my YouTube channel. We welcome everyone to continue paying attention to the origin of all diseases lies in the spleen and stomach. Many fans have told me that our program is different from other health programs. It has its own features because we not only learn about health but also gain a lot of inspirational stories. Unconsciously, we have learned to be strong and optimistic from the spirit of self-growth. Seeing such messages from fans, I feel very gratified that everyone can have such insights. I personally think that this is a very high state of health, that mental strength is more important than anything else. It seems that mental strength is illusory and intangible, but once we can use the illusory to repair the truth and put the spirit of self-growth into the reality of health, it's tremendous. What do we nurture in the end, and what can we get? Many fans would say that health preservation is to take care of our bodies. Some people say that health preservation is to follow nature, to arrange our lives according to the growth, transformation, collection, and storage of the four seasons. In fact, this is a good point. The health preservation of the four seasons starts with spring. However, I have my own opinion. I believe that the real meaning of health preservation is to take care of the human intestines and stomach. No matter which season it is, we should take good care of our intestines and stomach. I believe that many fans may laugh and shake their heads when they hear me say this. How can it be possible? Health preservation is to take care of the human intestines and stomach. Why have I never heard of this? But if you think about it, the fact is the word nurturing in health preservation means to nurture and take care of. For example, if we take care of flowers, we can take good care of the flowers and make them healthier and more beautiful. For example, if we raise deer, it means that after a section of the road is repaired, we must continue to maintain it to prevent the road from breaking down. What does health preservation mean? I don't know if you have heard of one of the 36 stratagems, such as making up a lie, which is one of the 36 stratagems called creating something out of nothing. So, life is a process from nothing to something. For example, when we have a child, why is it called giving birth to a child? Because you didn't have this child originally, and after giving birth you have it. So it's called creating something out of nothing. Ha ha ha, but our traditional Chinese medicine Tian calls spring life. Why is spring called life? Because in spring there were no plants, but after spring the earth is full of plants and vitality everywhere. That is life. So life is a process from nothing to something. What do we rely on to live today? Let me tell you, it's the intestines and stomach. We see that a person's growth process requires a lot of nutrients. What if our body lacks these nutrients? We need to absorb nutrients through the intestines and stomach. Therefore, the intestines and stomach are the organs of life in our body. The reason why we can be vigorous and energetic is that the intestines and stomach convert the nutrients in food into nutrients in our bodies. If a person doesn't eat for a few meals, they will be directly weakened, just like the flowers we grow. To make the flowers beautiful, we must first plant the flower seeds in the soil and put them in water to let the flowers absorb the nutrients in the soil and water. This is how we can maintain the flower. So what is health preservation? It is to take care of the human intestines and stomach, to maintain the ecological balance of the human intestines and stomach, so that people can absorb nutrients, create something out of nothing, and obtain health. So, our concept of health preservation is to take good care of our spleen, stomach, and intestinal ecology, which is very important. Speaking of the stomach, what is it called in TM? Do you know? Let me tell you. TM calls the stomach the crown of the sky. Why? First, look at the character for guard. How is it written? It has a field on the top and a moon on the bottom. The field refers to grains, vegetables, and meats, and the moon represents our bodies. The stomach means an organ that stores grains, vegetables, and an organ. So Tien calls the stomach the crown of the sky, commonly known as a large warehouse. Whatever we eat, the stomach contains it. Jokingly speaking, even if you eat rebar and cement, it has to bear it. Speaking of this, you can often see on TV programs that some people directly swallow nails and glass into their stomachs. And after eating them, there is nothing wrong. There were also times of famine when many people couldn't stand the hunger, and they ate guano and clay, and many people were fine. This fully shows that our stomach is very powerful and is the most robust organ among the 5 viscera and 6 bowels. Speaking of this, didn't I tell you that there are indeed many people with special constitutions? For example, glass nails and so on, that under normal circumstances, we must never imitate these. But even the most robust organs cannot withstand long-term tossing. Especially for the elderly, as age increases, all bodily functions decline. In terms of diet, if it is unhealthy and unregulated, and there is no regular pattern, coupled with various preservatives and additives in many foods, that is, the geological turbidity and toxins we often talk about in the turbidity and toxin theory. Even the most robust stomach will sooner or later have problems. Moreover, once you get a stomach disease, it's not just a simple stomachache. It will directly affect the entire intestinal ecosystem and cause many diseases because the stomach is a very important link in the entire gastrointestinal ecological environment. What's above it? The esophagus, and what's below it? It's the small intestine and the large intestine. If there is a problem with the stomach, then the entire gastrointestinal ecological environment will be immediately disrupted, and the body will not be able to normally absorb nutrients, but instead absorb and produce a lot of toxins and garbage, causing various diseases in our bodies. Our stomach has an intake effect on the food we eat. In other words, the food we eat first needs to be chewed, then pass through the esophagus into our stomach. Does the stomach contain these foods? And then what happens next? Many people will say that the next step is for the stomach to digest these foods, right? But let me tell you, to be precise, it's only half right. The stomach digests food, but actually it's wrong. Let me tell you, the stomach is used to digest, not to transform. The two characters of digest contain different meanings. Let's talk about what digest means next. Digestion is to crush these foods in the stomach into a paste-like state and finally send it to the intestines. This process is called digestion. What is transformation? Transformation is to absorb these paste-like nutrients through the small intestine. So the stomach is not an organ for transformation, it is a grinding organ. Its function is to grind large food particles into small particles that can be absorbed by the human body. In this paste-like state of food, this is digestion. When we look at the two characters of digestion, we usually read them together, and few people take digest and transform out separately to talk about and read. Digestion is a whole process. Without the process of crushing food, the food cannot become paste-like, and the intestines cannot better absorb the nutrients in the food. So digestion is the premise of transformation. Next, let me give you an example. Many of our fans like to grow flowers at home to cultivate their sentiment. Right? So I ask everyone, what do you use to grow flowers at home? Of course, you grow flowers with soil, and the better the soil, the more beautiful the flowers. Good soil can grow good flowers. This soil must be good, which is the most basic condition. The smaller the soil particles, the easier it is for flowers to absorb nutrients from the soil, and the growth can be very vigorous. In fact, not only do plants need good soil, but we humans need good soil even more. And the function of our stomach is to grind food into soil-like particles through physical and chemical effects, and to grind food into fine particles so that our intestines can better absorb the nutrients in the food. If there is a problem with the stomach, such as gastric ulcers or gastritis, or when the stomach has problems, the peristaltic ability of the stomach will decline, and our stomach will not have the strength to grind food into good soil. The larger and harder the particles of food ground by the stomach, the more difficult it is for the small intestine to absorb the nutrients, leading to a lack of sufficient nutrition in the body. When the body lacks enough nutrition, it is like growing flowers. The flowers wilt, the leaves turn yellow, and eventually they wither. The same is true for humans. If the body lacks nutrition, it will appear weak, with insufficient resistance and a frail appearance. Many diseases will naturally come to the door. In addition, this food that has not been fully ground will not only enter the small intestine but also the large intestine. After entering the large intestine, it will ferment in the large intestine, breed harmful bacteria, and produce toxins. It's like when we pickle vegetables at home. We must clean the vegetables well so that when we pickle them, we can produce beneficial bacteria and pickle good pickles or sauerkraut. If the vegetables are not treated and thrown directly into the jar, after a few days, a large number of harmful bacteria will be produced, which will stink and produce toxins, turning into a pot of bad vegetables. Once the food that has not been fully ground ferments in the large intestine and produces a large amount of toxins, these toxins will enter our bodies and affect our health. For example, these toxins enter the bloodstream, causing cardiovascular and cerebrovascular diseases when they enter the skin. They cause skin diseases when they enter the nervous system. They cause nervous system problems. Therefore, in our turbid and toxic living environment, if we want to be healthy and detoxify, we must focus on the care of the spleen, stomach, and intestines. If there is a problem with our spleen, stomach, and intestines, then the whole body will have a big problem. After the intestinal environment is out of balance, your big trouble with health may come to you. So what should we do? We will focus on this topic in the next issue. Well, this issue is shared with you. Thank you for watching. See you next time. If this program is helpful to you, please forward and share it with more people. Let love be passed on and benefit more people. Goodbye.